Now the Supreme Court has ruled that the president exceeded his executive powers in making recess appointments while the Senate was technically still in a pro forma session. John Boehner thinks, you know what, I'm going to go after all of his executive actions. I want to bring him to court. I'm coming to your house, he says. Okay, I'm going to sue you. That's funny. I thought Republicans were for tort reform. Interesting. Talking Points memo explains that it's a lawsuit against President Barack Obama for allegedly exceeding his executive authority and failing to faithfully execute the law. The House of Representatives has never before endorsed a lawsuit against the president. So what the Republicans are doing here is unprecedented, as usual, right? So they say, well, we broke the records for filibusters. You broke the record for the least amount of recess appointments. That's so unbalanced, but how dare you ever take any executive action? We're going to break a new record and we're going to sue you to make sure you can't even do your job. Okay, great. Now, they've got to have a really good reason for doing this, right? It's such an unprecedented move. And I thought they hated litigation, right? I thought they hated lawyers and courts and taking people to court, right? So, John Boehner, why are you doing it? Boehner, quote, declined to say which executive actions he'll challenge when asked Wednesday. In other words, I don't know, all of his executive actions. Do I have to be specific? Yeah, it's a lawsuit. You got to be specific. He's like, in other words, I hate Obama. I hate him. I'm going to challenge all of his actions. I don't give a damn what they were. I don't need a good reason. I don't need to show you, oh, well, you see how this would be really illegal or unconstitutional? Supreme Court's on my side. I'm just going to bulldoze my way in there and say the president must be paralyzed. He's not allowed to do anything as president. Okay, now, of course, he can't pass any laws because John Boehner blocks every single proposal in the House. Now they want him to be not able to even conduct business within his own branch, the executive branch. So Josh Earnest is pissed. He's the White House press secretary. He says the fact of the matter is the president's not going to be cowed into failing to use authority that is vested in the presidency to make progress on behalf of middle-class families all across the country. That sounds pretty good. I'm going to show you why in a second. I'd go a little further. He also says Republicans have engaged in a coordinated political strategy to block any progress, to block anything the president supports, even common sense things and even things that have traditionally earned bipartisan support. Well, that sounds a little tough, but I would back it by taking action. What kind of action would I take?
Release the Kraken!
Now, the reason that the president has to take executive action is because, one, you're blocking all of his bills, and two, you're filibustering everything, right? So on the filibuster, well, you got the Supreme Court to agree that the Senate has to be, that I have to respect it when the Senate is in session, when they're not actually doing any business, they're not passing any legislation. No problem. The problem was the filibuster. And we had already taken away some of your rights in the filibuster, the Democratic majority in the Senate had. Now that you're suing me, I'm done with it. I'm taking away all of your filibuster rights. I have the ability to do that. Filibuster is not in the Constitution. It's just a Senate rule, and it can be just overturned by a majority of the senators. Democrats have 55 senators. They have a clear majority. So you want to sue me again? Go ahead, sue me again, John Boehner. And I'll make sure you can't block a damn thing through the Senate. Here's what the amount of power that Republicans will have in the Senate. 0. I'll get my 55 senators to do any damn thing I like because you won't have the ability to filibuster a goddamn thing. You want to sue me again? No, go ahead, John. Step on up. Step on up, John. I would have had that ready. The minute John Boehner files his lawsuit, I would press that button and do it immediately. Hey, listen, I'm not having a conversation with these guys. You're president for only about 2.5 years from now. That's it. You only have that much time left, right? You don't have time to play around with these guys. You know what President Obama has done? To be honest with you, yes, these executive actions that Boehner is trying to block are good and positive actions. One of the things that they care most about is the president said, hey, you know what? Through those coal-powered plants, you got to cut carbon emissions by 30%, right? Oh, they hate that. They want to be able to pollute all that they want and put all the greenhouse gases into there to make an extra nickel and a dime. That's the donors funding the Republicans to do that. So that's why they're going to court to try to stop the president, right? But these are tiny little actions. You need to actually pass legislation. And President Obama has basically given up on the idea of passing legislation. Well, you say, well, look, man, they have a filibuster in the Senate. But I just told you, If they wanted to, they can take the filibuster away any second. Well, then Democrats might not have the ability to filibuster if there's a Republican president. Yeah. We have a Democratic president right now. And he's basically said, I'm not going to do anything for 2.5 years. That's crazy. Why did we bother electing him? What laws have been passed in Obama's second term and what laws are going to be passed? Nothing. So you've got to take action now. You say, all right, wait a minute. You take away the filibuster in the Senate. I hear you. Okay, you were a tough guy. You did that. But the Republicans still control the House. You're right. Okay, so here's what I would do. Every day, I'd have Democrats in the House put forward legislation saying, okay, here's a new jobs bill. Okay, we're going to do construction in Minnesota, in Wisconsin, in Texas, in Alabama, in California, wherever. We're going to build that bridge. We're going to build a highway. We're going to build infrastructure. We're going to build energy. Whether it's old school energy to improve that infrastructure, whether it's new energy, wind energy, solar energy, every single day a new project, and I'd have the House vote it down. I would have them vote down millions upon millions of jobs that would have been created. Job bill after job bill. Have them spike it and spike it and spike it. Have at it, Hoss. Go for it, John Boehner. Go for it, Republicans. Show how tough guy you are. Oh, we hate this jobs bill. We hate this jobs bill. We hate this jobs bill. Make them do it. What are you sitting around for? What are you sitting around for doing nothing? Giving up. And saying, oh, okay, oh, they're going to block us. They got a filibuster. They got the Republican House. Okay, look, I think you should do immigration reform. I'd do 10 different versions of that. I'd make them kill it until not a single Latino voted for them in the country. I'd do all the things that you're planning on doing, hoping against hope that you'll get the Republicans to agree to do. On top of that, I would do the jobs bill. And I wouldn't hope for progress from Republicans, from agreement from Republicans. Here's what I'd do instead. I'd say, look, guys, we are going to maul you in the next elections because we're going to have you on record voting against tens of millions of jobs we would have created if you weren't standing in the way. Okay, you want to stand in the way? Go for it. Go for it. The only way the Republicans are going to agree with you is not if you're polite to them, not if you go golfing with them or you have a beer with them. It's if you break their back and drink their spinal fluid. And in the middle of drinking this, oh, now you agree, do you? Because that's what's going to happen. The only times that President Obama has ever been tough with them, he has won. And those are the only times he's ever won. When he said, I don't give a damn what you think anymore, and I'm going to take it to the American people. And you know what the Republicans do? Every time they start crying, they say, oh no, but the president is playing politics. Yeah, what the fuck was he supposed to do? He's a politician. You're all politicians. You guys play politics nonstop. It's about damn time President Obama picked up the ball and started playing politics himself. Break their back, okay? But unfortunately, the Democrats don't quite go the same way that I go, and that's why they don't have any progress. If you think it's unrealistic, it's not. I've shown on this show over and over again, every time they go harder and they take it to the American people and they are aggressive, they win. But unfortunately, oftentimes, Democrats aren't paid to be aggressive. They're paid to be wusses. Well, one Democratic senator said off the record, he said, well, if we were that aggressive, then we wouldn't get campaign contributions anymore. Well, there you have it. That's our political system in a nutshell. Don't wait on Democrats, okay? These things I said are obvious. It's not like they haven't thought of it. They just don't want to do it, right? You got to change the system. wolf-pack.com, wolf-pack.com. Look, man, we're not, you know, oftentimes they say, oh, yeah, you're a talk show host. What do you know? You don't know politics. Well, that's funny because I was told that we were naive in trying to get a convention to get money out of politics. You can't do that. That's impossible. You won't get any states. That's weird because we just got Vermont and California, the largest state in the union. Funny how politically naive I am. Now, you sit around and you'll see how we do this because this isn't about just spouting off at the mouth. This is about action, okay? And if Democrats aren't going to do it, we're right here. wolf-pack.com. Get up. Let's show them how we can do it together, okay? We're already well on the way. Join our army, and let's go get the sons of bitches. wolf-pack.com.